6005 it's about $97 million, and 6003 $354 million. So Mr. Chetan is importing these fabrics and supplying it to almost, I think, all sportswear brands. And let's try to understand his perspective that what are the challenges we are facing in India in sourcing of those fabrics, and how is mitigating from importing from other countries.
Thank you so much, Ravi. And very good evening to both the members on the stage with me. So before I start, I think it's a sportswear session. Yeah, and I see the energy missing in the room. Is that right? It's the last session of the evening. Everybody's already exhausted for the day. So how about just standing up once and shaking yourself? Will that work for all of us? Yeah, please. Let's do a little bit of shaky, please. You also need it. Yeah, just shake it. Yeah, because it's been a long day. I get that. Thank you so much. So, our company, again earlier Pashupati Overseas Products Private Limited, as it's known now, for the last 17 years it's been enabling the Indian textile or Indian sportswear industry through its efforts. And we are one of our companies that since the very beginning we've been focused on this one category of sportswear. And it is not like we were sent for this, but yeah, somehow we landed into this and ये लगा कि यार इसी को career बना लेते हैं, बढ़िया से जो कर सकते हैं इसी में कर लेते हैं rather than looking at too many other options. So our journey started in 2005 when majorly when we were importing these fabrics. That time the entire trade was dependent on majorly Taiwanese stock lot fabrics. Even that time China was also, I would say, coming up on its supply chains, and Korea and Taiwan stock lots were the major mainstay. Brands like Adidas, Reebok, also vendors were more dependent on there, So what we realized in the journey is that that was a very, very small game. And till the time a consistent supply chain was not delivered to the industry, it would never grow. And that was one thing that we tried to bring into the industry. Yes, at this very time, you will also realize that India as a fabric sourcing base, that we actually struggle even today after 17 years of our existence. But still, at that time, there was hardly anybody in the industry who was offering polyester wovens or polyester knitted fabrics for the activewear industry. As we rightly know, polyesters in India from the fabric sense is what we know is sarees and dupattas from Surat. That's what the entire mindset is about. Even today, one of the biggest challenges that the industry faces is not on the fabric, but on the mindset. On two areas, I'd say. I'll speak from the industry's perspective also and from the customer's perspective also. So what the customer has got to experience in all these years, and you people will relate very well, is a kind of polyester which makes you feel itchy, which is not very comfortable, which makes you sweat a lot. Yeah, so there's a lot of discomfort associated with polyesters. That stigma still continues in the society. Aaj bhi, when I interact with people, they would say, yeah, polyester nahi pehna, cotton mein kuch bhi pehen lunga. Yeah, do we hear ourselves also saying the same thing a lot of times? Yeah, and till the time this mindset is not moved from the customer's perspective, this industry really seems to be growing on a very bleak possibility. I really acknowledge Yamini ji and Prashant. I think the kind of, in fact, one of the earlier sessions I was listening to, something was being talked about education in the industry, of the industry and of the consumer as well. That till the time we don't understand the product, till the time we don't understand the real benefits that it is going to give us, making it acceptance would be very, very difficult. Even today as a society, as Ravi ji was pinpointing, tracksuits ke naam pe aaj bhi cotton single jersey ya cotton fleece ke kapde log tracksuit pehen ke use karte hain, which is typically, okay, I'll put an example to you, yeah. I think that will help a lot of people break that mindset. That's the way I share it with a lot of people as well. That possibly in your day, yeah, what is the time or which is the place where you sweat the most? Any answers from the audience? Which is the place where you sweat the most? Yeah, during what activity do you sweat the most? While running, yeah? Brisk walk or running. Yeah, in fact, Menzies, you were talking about changing of 2 to 3 t-shirts while doing workouts, right? So we all understand that while the body is physically active, that is the time when we are producing the maximum amount of sweat and heat from the body. And putting it in a very common man's language, आज अगर Nike, Adidas, Reebok, Puma, Decathlon सब लोग पॉलिएस्टर बेच रहे हैं और कंज्यूमर पहन के खुश है, तो ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि पॉलिएस्टर में वो कंफर्टेबल ना फील करे. Right? So today's polyester, now talking from the industry's perspective, last 15 to 18 years, the kind of development, the kind of technology, the kind of research which has happened in this particular category has never happened in the, I would say, entire textile industry. In the name of cottons, what do we have? 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s, hundreds cotton count, that's all. And there's no change in all our history, whatever we heard. In polyesters, talking as a student myself, every day is a new day of learning. Every day there's a new kind of finish. Every day there's a new kind of technology coming on the yarn level. Every day there's new kind of breakthrough research happening globally, and we are still trying to catch up. So that is the kind of potential that we talk about from the industry's perspective, that the kind of newness which is there, and if that is brought in the right perspective with the support of the market, then as an industry, I don't see any reason why we will not never succeed. We will not succeed. Yeah, so when I keep interacting with a lot of sports institutes also, you know, where they would do coaching of football and tennis and, you know, all those, lot of professors I speak to, and they come back and tell me ki in their curriculum, it's really shocking for me, in the curriculum, the sports person is not told or taught what is the right clothing for him. Menses, maybe you will be able to address that very clearly, yeah? So whatever, yeah, please, if you could throw some light on that.
So I think right from the morning, right from the time the state minister was here, and she was saying that there has to be awareness amongst the people, that's not there. And top-bottom protrusion, which is not percolating till down. The end user is not aware about the benefits of the t-shirts or whatever he's wearing, the equipment that he's wearing, and that's the reason why we are in this situation. And I was just discussing with him also, we need to actually highlight is that what can happen if you wear this kind of clothing and what can happen when you wear this kind of clothing. And if that is come, because most of the parents are ready to pay.
Right.
If you look at the number of kids getting out on the ground, most of the parents are ready to pay, but they want to know exactly who can advise them, and there's nobody there to advise. And that's the reason why I was telling that even the CII, we need to bring in sports bodies and sports institutions into such conferences where we really reach out to them and to make them explain to them how we can go about. And that's exactly not happening. The other part of it is the R&D is not present in any of the producers or the sellers over here. And we have got the research center, the Wool Research Center here. They've got M number of acres of land over there. They can actually formulate whether it is an artificial turf or you want to practice over there, you want to find out the body mechanism of an athlete or whatever it is. But we don't have a center that can really determine the performance levels of people with the various equipments and fabrics.
Yeah, thank you, Menzies, for the contribution. So, in fact, coming from Menzies, you know, who's been a sports player himself, you know, I'm sure you can also acknowledge that it is by default, whatever is given to the sports person is what he's wearing. And I'll also share, you know, something which we did a market research in December, just about 3 months earlier, with parents in India. We were looking at a research on kids wear, sportswear for kids in India. And one thing that came out common in most of the Indian households, that शाम को बच्चा जब खेलने जाता है, जो पुराने कपड़े होते हैं वो पहन के जाता है. So mothers are even, and as families, and see that applies to us as well, you know. It's not that it's a market, that is the society we live in today, and that's the way we also behave. That we understand sports as कि वो जाएगा, गिरेगा, फटेगा, तो इसलिए पुराने कपड़े पहना दो. Vis-a-vis, at the same time, we fail to recognize that when he's going out to play that sport, if he's not wearing the right apparel, maybe that is not going to give him the right results as well. Maybe he's going to tire more earlier. Yeah, अगर वो बच्चा 1 घंटा खेलता, he would sweat more, he would perform more, he would have a better physique. Vis-a-vis, not wearing the right sports is not allowing him that space to work in, you know. So in 2019, I had published a book also. See, in fact, last 17 years of my journey has mostly been about educating, understanding the need why sportswear is really important. And the book title was Sportswear is not about pajamas. So once we understand that very clearly, we'll be very clear as to here why this is required, what are the real functions, what are the real needs, and then removing the taboo word, that polyesters, that taboo, now it's actually gone. There was a time, yes, we all have come up in that era, but today the kind of polyester which is available, thanks to all the research which has happened, is really good. It is the real the thing. In fact, we have seen the way people talk about athleisure. Why this has found space in athleisure? You go to Uniqlo, you'll find trousers, you find suits made of. Actually, I'm wearing a nylon spandex suit today, fully knitted fabric. So this is finding application everywhere. We are actually we are not even aware of it.
I think Mr. Kishan
Kishan,
can
would be able to think a
give
lot
a
of,
more idea about international perspective on this and how they are supporting Indian sports industry.
I'll just put one more point because coming on the fabric print, I think I should not have missed that. So yes, as a company, as an industry, we have been import dependent all these years, but thankful in the last 3 years of our journey, whatever lessons we've learned, whatever understanding we've developed on fabric because of our exposure to the other countries of this trade, we've been able to create almost like 60% of those fabrics in India today. And that's a big achievement, and that is where that gives us confidence. We've been trying to bring the yarn suppliers, the knitting guys, the dyeing people together to create some kind of a knowledge base and education and understanding on how the polyester has to be processed. Yes, that's a missing area still, but I'm sure given the way things look at the moment, I'm really very optimistic today. And we have already started building up fabrics for the Indian brands, number one. Number two, we already started looking at export inquiries also. Yeah, in fact, now Kishan has really been a very, very good support all these years in working together as an industry and giving exposure on that platform. So over to Kishan now. Thank you so much.
Good evening to